Hello, welcome to week 5 of Macroeconomic Principles. We are actually back at the Black Dog Smoke and Bar in Champaign-Urbana. We met the bar last week on week 4. This next 2 weeks, we're going to get more into the details of how the business is run, right? This week in particular, we are actually going to talk more about what happens in the kitchen, right? And we'll talk a little about that in a second. And next week, we want to talk about more what happens out here at the tables, right? So the way I want to kind of pose a question for the next 2 weeks is kind of in the following. I think about the way the computing price have changed over the years. In 1998, I actually bought this computer. It was a really heavy thing. It weighed a ton, right? I was really proud of it because it was my first laptop computer. But if you think about it, not only was this computer really heavy, it also didn't have almost no hard drive, 1 gigabyte of hard drive, right? So how much did I pay for this computer? At that moment, I had to save for one time $2,200 for this computer. 1 gigabyte of memory, really slow. Now fast forward to about 4 or 5 years, particularly let's talk about what happens to the price of memory, right? And not only computing power, but memory itself. After 2 or 3 years of having the computer, it kind of run out of space. I have to buy an external hard drive. And that external hard drive, I was really happy, had 3 gigabytes of memory, and it cost about $150, right? It was still this bulky, heavy thing I have to carry in my backpack, right, all the time. Fast forward to about 6 or 7 years, and we had the new computers we have today, which we essentially carry in our pockets, right? I have in my pocket, I have kind of a computer. Now, how much? This has 8 gigabytes of memory, right? And how small it is. And it cost me $200. This is a computer I use right now. I use a computer that is a lot, what they call Ultrabook. It's actually very thin, right? This computer. It has, how much memory this computer has. It's a lot, 10 times more than the computer I had in 1998. And I pay a fraction of the price. I only pay $1,000 for this computer. And what about those 2 gigabytes of memory that I had in 1998 in this big computer? How much does it cost and how does it look like? It looks like this. This is 2 gigabytes of memory, right? It costs about, what, $20, all right? So in 13 years, the quality of the memory the price has reduced dramatically. So now a lot more people can afford better quality memory and computing power than before. That is actually one of the reasons you are actually watching me on your computer today. And you could not have done this some years ago, let's say in 1998, when I actually bought my first computer. The reason why that has to do with the things we're going to talk about this week and next week, of how a business is operated and also how a business operates in the market structure. At the end, you will see that the process that really creates this innovation and benefits everyone is no different than this survival of the fittest idea that Charles Darwin actually talks so much in biology. As we learn more about it next week, a lot of these ideas actually were already established in economics, and this is kind of the idea driving the economic systems as well. But this week, we'll start in the kitchen. We want to know things like the process of production takes place in this kitchen of this. How are barbecue sandwiches produced? What type of units, inputs are used? Electricity, kitchen space, workers. How are those inputs combined? How you use your worker with the space you have. You have limitations of space, what happens then? What happens to the productivity of your workers when you have too many workers in a limited space? And what happened to the cost of productions, particularly, this is a question that we do first, and it's a really important one. What happens to the productivity of your workers when you actually start running out of space, particularly the cost? We're going to start with those questions in production first, the kitchen first, then next week we move into the tables. And remember that question that we're going to try to answer at the end of the next 2 weeks. So we're going to take 2 weeks to actually answer this question. How is society improved by reducing the price and improving the quality of production through this process of survival of the fittest in business?